men and women, and the fruit of their sperms and ova gathered in the village square to sing songs. They sang for long, for moonshine through the dawn till a new day was set to be born. They gathered by the fireside to tell tales of mighty characters, of Lumumba, Nkrumah, Madiba, Yasantua, Ayikushi. The old gathered in the day's pale to tell Anansi tales. They celebrated the sweet oils of the pan amidst the clap of the palm. But that was then. That when the African tongue married African song, then when the sweet tunes of the xylophones, of the flutes and the harps were best heard by none but by the ears of the hearts, then when the fall of the mighty king silenced the night, the mortals never walked deep under the scorch of the moon for the fear of divorcing their souls and dust. Then when the hunter strapped his Kafue across his back, took bold steps deep into the dark, when eyes sought to take sleep in the night, then which now creeps and crawls into the arms of extinction. That when we all gathered in the village square, and the mighty orator chanted, Pipina, Pipina. They say history should be told with treachery and misery, but I say history should be told as it were. Once upon a time, and here my story ends. What's up, Pamela? Shit.
Charlie, we could do that 10 months.
This 2014 MacBook Pro.
Yeah, this be tier of a cool price, crowd.
Yeah, but where do you guys get these things from?
What's your problem? Do you want to buy it?
Just asking.
Pamela, you see this beauty right here? It has an 8 gig random access memory with 256 solid state drive and a 1080p webcam. Beast, man.
Is it good for FaceTiming, Skyping, basically like all the videos?
Oh, Pamela, this is a perfect machine. It's spotless. We're not going to sell you, Yawa. Come on.
So, how much is it?
You see, if you go the shop inside, go buy, and then go if you take hit to like 7.5k at the law, but sick of that bittersweet experience between you, then like, you know, there's some 5k we go release give you.
5k? Wadada, why?
Like, what am I buying? Machine.
Oh, come on, like, but 5k is too much. You guys know 5k is too.
What the hell is going on here? Please, why are you flirting with my girl?
Calm down.
Don't tell me to calm down. Why are you flirting with my girl? Boss, don't you dare move, Pamela. Why are you flirting with my girl?
Boss, he used to, but no more.
What is wrong with you?
Charlie, it be reflex reaction.
Okay, do we...
Okay, that was amazing.
we decided to spice it up a bit because we've been celebrating art all week long, and today is Friday. So what great way to start the show than to celebrate all the amazing people we've had all week long.
Yes, I love the initial song. I think that was Seyram. Seyram singing, you know, to some drumming and African cultural, you know, display. That was amazing. That was so fantastic. So shout out to Seyram, and not forgetting, immediately after that was the cast of Lucky.
Yes,
you know,
they were here yesterday.
In the studio yesterday. That was also fantastic. I had a fantastic time with them. You know, the gentleman who played the role Lucky, he was wearing the yellow shirt. He was so tall.
Extremely tall.
Yeah.
But guys, remember the Chalote is still happening, and Seram and Nana, they have their event, which is the Adisa Festival, also happening today. So let us all go out today, tomorrow, Sunday, and let's support our amazing artists. But speaking of artists, we have some really talented guys in the house that we're going to introduce to you soon. But before that, this is Breakfast Daily on City TV. We are your lovely hosts, Jifa Ekia Ametang.
And I'm Isaac Ubofos-Mensah.
Now, we want to keep this conversation interactive, so don't forget to use the hashtag Breakfast Daily and the WhatsApp line
0550-585-832. That's 0550-585-832.
So
now, yeah.
Go ahead.
I was about to talk about the people who are coming to perform.
Yes, please go.
Yes,
for it.
We have Natty Ugly. He will be, performing a poem or a spoken word piece. A fantastic spoken word artist. And Nakambo will also be performing as well. Fantastic spoken word artist. And Day, D-E-Y is his name. He will also be performing. And I see Kojo Yibo also in the studio somewhere, so maybe in the course of the program, we might just call him in.
Yes. We don't want to take your time anymore, so we're just going to have you enjoy the amazing poets we have.
Spoken word at its best. Just listen.
So I fell in love with her queen. And she told me her king is loyal. And I told her, baby, no matter how loyal your king, he has more than 2 palanquins. In Tekshimami. I became an artist because only the artist knows what the art is. They say democracy, but the voter is not voting at ease, keeping his confused libido like an imposed cat keys. Please tell me what's this. University graduates travel overseas to wash panties. This may sound like comedy, characteristics of Ghanaian fancies. A true artist should speak his mind. Don't reduce your truthful rhyme due to their corrupted dime. Everyone is a self-minister, but can you really rise to be prime? They say thieves are in jail, but I tell you in the suit and AC is the real crime. Our countries are no longer motherlands. They see development as acquiring arms. So when confused, we cannot run back into our country's arms, for already in their arms are nuclear arms. Tell the national DJ to play me sorrowful jams. Youth of developing countries want white collar jobs. We throw away our cultural ceramics and import Chinese teapots. I tell you our heads are empty cocoa pots. Someone told me the white man's child eats real chocolate. That's why his teeth rot. We are so much into getting iPhone 7. Forgetting technology is luxury, not necessity. Why make this your burden? My girlfriend is in love with Justin Bieber. Out of jealousy, I changed the name to Justin Deceiver, yet she's a believer. It only taught me you cannot really change women even if you donate your liver. So tell the DJ to turn turns of the turntables. I pray my spoken word connects to your invisible mind cables. You see, whenever boss sleeps with secretary, you shouldn't go asking the security man. Investigation should go beneath the deck tables. Well, you can call the truth fantasy, yet you drink Fanta but can't see. I better go to a church which has a repentant stripper as chorister than a hypocrite head pastor. Billionaires give testimony all the time in church, yet ushers are unemployed. So before my brother comes, I tell you, if you have a girlfriend who's materialistic and thinks technology is everything, tell her when having her menses, she should use an iPad, a halakasa.
7 crappy hours of our lives. School. At no point in our lives than this moment have we been totally discouraged. At no point in our lives than this moment have we had our dream shattered to pieces. You know, it started out in kindergarten, when we started out with jigsaw puzzles and coloring books. No one cared if I drew a blue man with green hair. Learning by exploration, KG. Well, along the line I was growing. I'm guessing the weight got heavy. So after KG, we had to drop some KGs. Everything changed. I mean, after we've been taught the basics, what happens next? No more room for exploration and creativity. We've been robbed of our foresight. Anything I do that isn't on the syllabus is nonsense. No one cares if we are creative. Hell no, we create thieves, learning by regurgitation. No one is challenged to think for themselves. That don't fetch marks. It's like a basket with holes in it. So tell me, what's the essence of fighting plagiarism, since that's what we've been taught to do? What if maybe these baskets of minds we had weren't designed to fetch marks, but great ideas? I'm talking entrepreneurship, but no. Well, it wasn't on the timetable. All I see are abstract theories, less practicalities, and basically, a test is only designed to test my ability to regurgitate what was poured down my throat. Struggling not to drown in failure, we keep getting grades below sea level. And they looked on and saw how we changed the world. They didn't know we could swim. I'm wondering, why hasn't anyone examined the examination? If we ever test the test might fail the test. It's obvious there's a problem with our system. We've got a system designed to make sure that only a specific number of people get in. So the bar is up every year depending on the average performance of students. WAEC has become nothing but wicked adults exploiting children, toying with their future. And why won't we have a high number of unemployed graduates waiting for jobs? Because that's all they would ever know. Everything they know was poured down on them. They never discovered discovery. What use is spending over 15 years in school for a degree when I would need 359 more to create my own circle? We all want to ace the A's, well, F the F's. What actually happened to the things I learned that weren't asked on paper? And since the human mind is 10 times more powerful than a supercomputer, why ask me questions with answers on Google? Does a 4.0 GPA or a first class guarantee my having problem solving skills? Now that's a problem we need to solve. It's like a simultaneous equation with many variables. It's like trying to balance a quadratic expression by dividing through by 0. The answer is undefined, just like our systems. It's like life is a right angle triangle and we are stuck on a line where all the opposites and adjacents meet. Hypotenuse. We missed out all the signs chasing cosines, and in the end we couldn't catch anything tangent. Cos 90, life tricked us. Trigonometry. And so our young boys whom we see in the streets as hoodlums are nothing but millionaires in their wrong elements, so they resort to fraud. And some of our ladies will do anything for money. It's like the depreciation of the Ghana cedi is falling fast in competition with some of our young girls' panties. Colleges have become nothing but collages of failure. Charlie, whether it's tech or leg, Charlie, you for use your head. Our education needs some education.
Yes, sir. Sleepers, Charlie, what on the quota as the sun scorches. Sleep hurts because the day might not look so gorgeous. Reverse the direction of life, broken, homeless, free birds, splashing in the street, we don't want to watch us. So I do this for the street hawkers, the kids squatting on our bridges, the one living life in the street corners. Survive as the fetus, but now singing survival of the fetus, asking, so will the good side of life ever feed us? As reality lays before him bare, the daily encounter of his nightmare, your glimpse of him through the trotro window is his everyday affair. The gathering of the clouds is to him his care, nowhere to hide when the rains come, so he can hardly afford a chair. He looks through the eyes of his poor mom and sees nothing but tears. Situation unchanged for many years and he's wondering, God, his life really fair? He go be, but still lie in the chair, switching lanes, racing with taxis, straws, keys and 4 wheels. Yet at the end of the day, he can barely afford a square meal. He switches to extinguish his last breath and never to get a refill. Finally put his poor soul to rest away from the pains of this daily drill. Cause constant glimpses of death and its icy chills shatter his dreams. He goes to bed afraid of what tomorrow brings. Hopes of finding greener pastures keep developing wings, so they fly away, leaving him in despair. Anxiety is the lord of his rings. In a jungle of a society where nobody cares, the violence of man is king. We all fighting for a share, so survival is the name of the game. So to keep body and soul in unity, street credibility begins to mean more to him than life in eternity. He sees through the eyes of agony and abuse of drugs becomes his only remedy. Against the scary thoughts flooding his mind daily. Many battles fought, but life is still crazy. The battle wages on. The war is never done and victory is never won. He chases after cars only to end up with a 50 peso coin. In the end, he queues up at the drugstore just to get a coupon to treat his hurting joints. He keeps pushing just to get something to eat, but his earnings too little to afford him a keep. So get rich or die trying becomes his only adrenaline, the only motivation propelling his life but towards the shores of distraction. With open arms, he embraces the street philosophy. In search of harmony, thug living finally becomes his only reality. The same theology that ends up in fatality. He begins to feel the pressure. He begins to feel the pinch from the economic weather. Then he remembers his ailing mother. Then again, he has a sister who might just go into prostitution because she cannot even afford to be a trader. Yes, he has a girlfriend due for labor, but has to manage to see the doctor. Then the devil begins to whisper. In desperation, he picks up bullets and guns just to visit you and I. In the comfort of our home, just to say hi. Do you remember the same kid you met on the street some time ago and all he did was to frown and pass by? How many of us would like to entertain such a visitor? How many of us? You see, the increasing number of policemen will only keep the situation. But how about a little effort towards putting an end to the cycle of frustration? And all they need is love. La casa. Salute.
Woo. What a talent.
They're all amazing. They're all amazing. They're all amazing. Wow. Wow. We have really good people.
Do you want to freestyle? Are you inspired to share some of your own spoken word with us?
I dropped my that aspect of my life. I handed everything over to Kojo Viper, and Kojo Viper is a really fantastic artist. Yeah. Kojo Viper and what's his name, Yao Beck. You know, the day they came here, I'm like, you know what, I quit. I'm not even going to try like doing music or anything or so.
But you know, it takes a lot to actually perfect the craft of just spoken art, because first you have to, you know, I guess, write drafts upon drafts, then practice it until you can actually, you know, recite it without, you know, looking at a paper. And people really don't see what goes into just one piece.
Yes,
and,
it's just the beauty of it. It's like most of the time your best lines will come to you when you're not expecting.
Exactly.
You know, when you actually, you know, when you sit to say, you know, I want to write something, you may get some lines, but they will not be your best lines. When you're walking down the street, when you're about to, you know, enter a church, or when you're about to buy pure water, like stuff like that, things just hit you, and then it becomes a concept. It turns into a concept. So that 1 or 2 lines, the few lines you develop from it are usually the most powerful within your piece.
And sometimes really poets are actually, for me, the most influential people in our lives, right? Because they are able to articulate our struggles in a way that we're like, I'm feeling the same exact thing, but I can't say it.
Actually relate to stuff like that.
Yeah, and for me, the one person who had a big influence on my life was Maya Angelou. Right? So I grew up reading all of her poems, and it really, you know, spoke to what I was dealing with as a young woman. So I think all the young boys in Presec and Legon can see these young men and are like, yeah, I dig that
people
too.
In Achimota and all the other schools that are not,
Presec to give me a shout out.
Yeah, that may not be as good as Presec.
No, let me. And everything.
No, I just wanted to add it. The other people watching who may not have gone to schools that may not have been as solid as Presec.
Oh, police! You guys didn't even win that national science and math quiz.
No, but at least we have most wins still. Five wins or so.
So you're depending on your legacy. Like, yes, depend on the Nkrumah's legacy for everything.
Anyway, but bottom line is that they were fantastic. And, you know, one of them was actually speaking about the fact that, you know, if they test the test with the people, whoever, like the system will not be able to stand it. They are testing. And I think it was solid, you know. And it's true. They make really fantastic points that they feed you things. And literally, when you're given in an exam, you're expected to regurgitate exactly what they've given you. So it's like, we're feeding you X, in an exam, give us X. It does not allow people to think outside the box too much.
Critical thinking is missing in all of that, because as a student, you're supposed to question things, right? But if you're not allowed to, then even as an adult, when you get a job, you're just doing as you're told without really asking, why am I doing this? And it's in asking the whys that you begin to understand the value of whatever it is that you're doing. So I do think we need
especially in science. I remember when I was in Presec, for instance, if you want to calculate, for instance, the force between two objects, okay, I think it was what, m1 minus m2 all over r squared. There was a formula like that. So I think
do you want to solve it for us?
Solve what? Me? Even Lego, I finished 10 years ago and I dropped science in Presec. So I'm just saying, like, so they're trying to, so the R2, I think, is the distance, the square of the distance between the two bodies. So then I'm thinking, why should it be this way? So I'm thinking, but then there's no avenue to explore the thought. If maybe in a better system, you would have, you know, the right tutors, because I did try to speak to someone about it, but then they'll tell you that's the formula. That's the formula. Exactly. Wow. But I think you should be able to question the formula. But then at such a young age, they don't understand why you are questioning the formula. Maybe just study the formula, regurgitate it like the poets were talking about. And maybe later in life, you might want to question the formula. But later in life, I do not have the interest anymore. You know, it's sad.
You have other formulas, like the first poet talked about women and materialistic tendencies. But I think some men are also very materialistic. I think generally...
You think some men are materialistic?
A lot of men are materialistic. Because I think we get to a point where, well, some people equate their self-worth to what they have, right? And there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. I think if you work hard for your money and you want to buy the flashiest thing in town, that's perfectly fine. But we should really be thinking about our legacies, right? Because when we die, we are gone, but it's all what you leave behind. And I mean, yesterday we had this big celebration at Achim. Is it Achim?
The Ochima invited.
Yes, 75 years anniversary. Really, you know, and you just see this culture, and you're like, these men left a legacy, right? And we all owe it to ourselves.
Celebrating the 75th anniversary of Nana Sefo-Oferta.
Yes,
wonderful.
The first.
Yeah, wonderful. So this happened at Chibi. And it was a very fantastic event. I think we have a quick a quick report concerning that particular.
But it was beautiful. The point I was making is these men are not outliers, right? I mentioned Maya Angelou. She's not an outlier. I've talked about Wangari Maathai, who was the first African woman to win a Nobel Peace Prize. When you see them, you don't think of what she wore or the car she drove or the kind of phone she had. You think of the lives she impacted, right? So me, at 15 years old, I picked up her book Unbowed and saw the potential I had, right? And the legacy I also had to live and what people have done before me. So when you listen to poems, don't just listen to them for the sake of the entertainment, but also reflect on them and learn from them as well.
So there's more to life. You did say what you wore, and I think you even haven't gotten there. Now we don't wear what, we wear who. Now it's about who you are. So there's more to life than who you are. You know, there's beauty in life. Yes. There's beauty in giving. You know, there's beauty in actually caring for others. As I speak right now, it's still sad that I still saw. You know, I complained the other time about one person on the overhead, the circle overhead on the Dubai, when you're heading towards Accra, you know, in the curve from, let's say, Ring Road over the Dubai overpass, and then you head towards Adabaka area. In the morning, there's always a person sleeping on the road. And I noticed this morning that now there are 2 people sleeping on the road.
At least he's not alone. Well, that's
but
not
the thing is that in the dark,
that was not the point.
in the dark, when a person is in the curve, when someone is driving, the person might just easily hit them because they completely cover themselves. They completely cover themselves. So you might think maybe it's a piece of rubbish or a piece of rubber or something, then you're just passing on it, maybe to serve a small pothole or something. Then whose fault is it? So it's a very serious thing that the police, especially the Adabaka police people, should
and I think the most vulnerable of our society are a reflection of us. Right, so if we fail them, then we've actually failed ourselves.
Let's just take a quick look at what happened at Chebi yesterday. So, yeah, let's enjoy it. Wow. This is beautiful.
Of Ashantis and Achims, and their chiefs thrown the Oforipeni fear in Chebi in the eastern region. There was a display of rich tradition and culture. President Akufo-Addo, former President Rawlings and his wife, Speaker of Parliament Aaron Michael Quay, as well as senior government officials were all present to grace the occasion. The Asantehene, who came with an entourage of over 50 chiefs, told the gathering that it was about time chiefs were allowed to take up active roles in the governance of the country.
Constitution na Troy no ya de afrafra ma brofo de na ya de aye so mumiansa ni hu dwuma ne ya nwene hu se e de be ne fa amane ne ahene betim de abeshi mu na ye so ama boa ma Ghana amamu akosro so sansa sabi do ni as democracy de ani ho a chairman hia kabi so min kabi ho na wo so me chance ne e po bi ko adua so Metrasi ni ebu obi kwa adua. So, ye mo oni akwa kwa mo so yi anu fa na dance fo nyinara. So, ye nyina etie na fe na nanu a kire adwene.
Ochehene Amotia Oforipeni expressed great gratitude to the Asantehene for accepting to be the special guest of honor at the Grand Durbar. He was quick to add that the presence of the Asantehene in Chebi signified the beginning of a fruitful relations between the Buakwa state and the Ashanti Kingdom.
Yebekai Sade, Neakaya, Neaka the crop, Amayena, and so Santimai, and then Swatchimai, and then Swan Wagan Hangina, Nipafia, Obia Bayanitia, Obia Womania in Sefa, Yakani in a Boma, na Apeja Ghana. Yes, sir. Onyame ahone. No family in peace.
Wow.
That was beautiful.
This is a beautiful display of
democracy. Culture. You can't find democracy anywhere than, you know,
Menshia Palace.
Menshia is where you can actually see signs of democracy, and that was beautiful.
And I agree with him completely. I think our chiefs shouldn't only be ceremonial. We should have some sort of responsibility for them that the Constitution says you should provide.
Well, to be fair,
something.
To be fair to the Constitution, the Constitution has a whole chapter dedicated to chieftaincy. A whole chapter. Beyond that, Parliament has the Chieftaincy Act, which has been in existence for decades now.
Wow.
So we do have some laws. Maybe what he's calling for is more involvement of the chiefs, because subsequent constitutions have sort of eradicated some of or eroded some of the powers that initially chiefs had. For instance, chiefs used to have judicial power, but then if you look at, I think Article 125 of the Constitution, 92, for instance, it says that the judicial power shall be vested in the judiciary. So any person who's not part of the judiciary, you have to, resort to, it has to be the judiciary. If it's going to be anything judicial or whatever, it has to be issue of chieftaincy. So it has to be issue of judiciary. So that's where we are now as a nation.
But it was just a beautiful display.
It was too beautiful.
I mean, just proud people.
There were so many people there, and the cars.
But I think it was good for the kente industry as well, because it was such a good display of authentic, handmade, bonuri kente.
As much as we're displaying our culture, maybe we should have come on horses and instead of the Rolls Royce and the likes that we saw over there. It was very beautiful. The event was very beautiful.
Maybe next time we'll all pull up in Kantanka, because that would be good.
We'll see about that. We'll see about that. But it was so fantastic.
Yes.
Just seeing the share, the culture, and everything has a meaning. If you're going to wear the cloth over your left, it has a meaning.
Or put it around you.
All that has a meaning.
And even the dances. Do you know what this means, for example?
Well, I know, for instance, what this means when they do like this and they do like this. No, it's not gods. They're saying that, for instance, all this belongs to me. So
it's not Wakanda?
No, it's not Wakanda. Okay. It's like they're saying here is mine. So usually the Omahene usually do that.
Because you did this.
Yeah, they do it to bring it to them. So whether they decide to do this or they decide to do this, they're saying like this is all mine. I'm the Omahene.
But you're saying you're media. So I don't know if
sometimes I remember when I was in Commonwealth Hall, the chief vandals do sometimes, just for fun, they also do that to say all the halls are mine. And then when they're doing that and they reach Volta Hall, then they'll point to a particular girl and they're like, that was fun. Those were the days. But we can't take away the beauty of this particular occasion. Actually, I wish it happens more often. I want to see more cultural display of this.
I want to see all of us not wear suits anymore and just wear kente every day. It might be difficult.
No, and maybe we'll have to start from the courts. I can imagine. No, I would want to see that. I'd want to see that.
But it will be beautiful.
Let us show more culture in the courts.
Exactly.
Because if you don't wear your black and white, they'll say, counsel, you are naked.
You are
naked. Yes, if you're wearing, let's say, a shirt and just a tie, and don't even have your jacket on, the judges can tell you, counsel, you are naked. Wow. They want you to dress as like a lawyer. So, and in Ghana, maybe eventually we may have to change one or two of these things.
Yes, but this is an amazing way to end a week of arts and culture and creativity. This is Breakfast Daily on City TV. We'll be right back with the news review.
Jealousy go shame against the bad boy. Jealousy go shame. What's up, guys? Your boy Kitty, and right now you are watching Breakfast Daily. Oh, Lord of mercy. Let's go.
It's engaging, detailed, and loaded with factual and incisive analysis. It's The Big Issue, your preferred Saturday morning news and current affairs analysis program on City TV. Tune in this and every Saturday at 9 a.m. and hear the newsmakers discuss the top issues for the week.
At that time, Charlotte was complete. I'm not defending Charlotte. I'm talking about the way we behave like hypocrites and ostriches in this country. At that time, she was a perfect person.
It's The Big Issue with Stella Madonu on City TV. This and every Saturday at 9 a.m.
live music, interviews, poetry, and more with your favorite personalities. Be our guest on Saturdays from 2 to 4 p.m. for the most exciting moments on TV. Join Kojo Akoto Boateng for real entertainment right in your living room. Saturday Live on City TV and City 97.3 FM.
Okay, welcome back to Breakfast Daily. Now it's time for the news review segment of the program. And remember that the hashtag is still Breakfast Daily on all social media platforms. We shall be reading your messages shortly. We have seen quite a few of the messages already. Yeah. And not forgetting the WhatsApp line.
0550-585-832. Now we'll start off with the daily graphic. The daily graphic says, "We stand for unity. Ochehene Asantehene declare." And that story is on page 3. Withdraw accreditation of legal institutions. Supreme Court nominee. You can find out more about that on page 16. And Professor Mante elected Presby moderator. That story is also on page 16.
Now let's take a look at the Ghanaian Times. The Ghanaian Times says historic union. Asantehene Ochehene vow to deepen relationship. That's what we have slapped on the front page of the Ghanaian Times this morning, as well as 1 killed, 17 injured in road accident at Akating, and Kofi Annan to be buried in Ghana. Nice. This coming from the family, and the full story is on page 18. We are indeed very glad that he'll be buried in Ghana, and also we are still saddened by his demise. I'll contest NDC flag bearership. Ex-President Mahama declares. We'll be touching on that story shortly. Full stories on page 17 this morning of the Ghanaian Times. And finally, roadmap for lifting ban on small-scale mining lacks clarity. We shall be looking at that story also shortly.
Now on to the Herald. EC bosses foreign travel collapses first IPAC meeting. Mahama declares final showdown with Akufo-Addo. That story is on pages 3, 4, and 5 of the Herald. NDC MP rejects $200,000 bribe. Possible names of givers out. Foreign Minister creates corruption avenue at Passport Office.
Now let's go straight to the Weekend Crusading Guide. The Weekend Crusading Guide says, rare moment, Otumfo Ochehene jolly together, and century-old Asante Achem feud. It was a beautiful ceremony. We just showed you a bit of the video from that particular event. Also, Ghana Cote d'Ivoire launched CSSVD control program. That's very, very positive for us. That is the cocoa swollen shoot virus disease control program. We need to fight this particular menace. Army men on Rampage saga. I haven't sold land to anybody. Ni Eyisa Sasraku III refutes allegations, and the full story is on pages 3 and 10 this morning of the new Weekend Crusading Guide.
Now on to the Independent. John Mahama is running for president in 2020. You can find out more about that story on page 2. Asantehene pays historic visit to Ocheman. That story is on page 2 of the Independent as well.
Okay, now let's take a look at the Gold Street Business. The Gold Street Business says newest domestic carrier offers lowest fares. And let's see, 402 Ghana cedis for Accra Kumasi round trip. That's quite nice. Yeah. Targets creation of an aviation hub within a decade. Another story here says employ technology to combat counterfeit pharmaceuticals. I think this is the event you were at
yes, by the World Bank
two days ago.
Now, Siemens company.
Yes, exactly. Child deaths decline in 2017. This is a survey. Now we'll take a look at some online stories.
As well. I'm reading from citynewsroom.com. Calling my new portfolio a demotion insulting to Zongos. That's coming from Mustafa Hamid. And okay, Accra NDC constituency chairman back Mahama for 2020. And there are a few more stories here that I wanted us to look at, but my data is messing up.
Okay, now let's take I think we should introduce our guest for today. We have indeed been joined in the studio by, let's see, wow. We've been joined by the Honorable Member of Parliament for Bongo, Honorable Edward Bawah. Good morning, welcome to Breakfast Daily.
Good morning.
It's always nice to have you.
Well, it's nice to be here.
How are you?
I'm doing great.
I like your outfit.
Oh, this is the second time you have said that. After the third time, I would informally to say something.
I think the first battle.
He said the third one, I should bring you one.
So he gets the clue.
They say the third one really quick before
I like your outfit.
This is the first battle I think I've seen with the zipper at the top. Yes, very interesting.
This is an opportunity for you to shout out the maker.
It's a constituent, actually.
Oh, wow.
A gentleman by name Clement from my constituency.
Interesting.
Nice job, Clement.
We've also been joined by the Director of Communications for NADMO, George AC. Good morning. Welcome to Breakfast Daily.
Yeah, good morning.
This is just your first time here.
Yeah.
Well, we have Honorable Bawah. He is a regular here, and he comes with a lot of fire. So
interesting.
We wish you all the best.
We're classmates.
Oh wow! Where?
You see that in there?
Yeah.
I was his best man.
You
at his wedding.
Yeah. Is it a joke or is it?
There's a beauty. Okay. There's a beauty to this, you know. So people should learn from this, even though they may be across sides of the political divides. There's still that unity that should be exemplified. Anyway, we'll go straight to our stories. But remember that if you are joining us, you should, comment with the hashtag Breakfast Daily on all social media platforms, and of course the WhatsApp line
0550-585-832.
Now let's take a look at our first story. We'll pick from the Ghanaian Times, the historic union between Asantehene and Ochehene, and they vow to deepen their relationship. Now we know it's been actually centuries since the Asantehene went to Ochimai, if I should say it that way, or went to Chibi, to be precise. But this particular event is very, very beautiful, as we have seen, or as we are seeing in the papers and on all websites across the land. So the story says the Asantehene Otumfuo Osei-Tutu II and the Ochehene Osagyefo Amoretey Ofori-Panyin have affirmed their commitment to deepen the relationship between the Ashanti Kingdom and Achime-Boakwa State to clear the erroneous rivalry myth between the two tribes. And at this particular event, there were, amongst other things that were said, was the Asantehene was calling on the lawmakers, Parliament, to look at the laws again, the 92 Constitution, to look at ways of bringing in chieftaincy a bit more. So I'll start with you, George AC, on this one.
Yeah, thank you. Good morning to our viewers. Yes, yesterday was a very historical day, having the Asantehene visiting Chebi. Before now, the history had it that an Asante chief was trying to cross to Chebi and was decapitated. Since then it became a taboo for the Asante king to cross the Pra River or something like that. And so I was excited when yesterday it became obvious that Asantehene was going to be in Chebi. Initially, friends were having a discussion the night before, and some said it would never happen. He wasn't going to come. They were just advertising it for the publicity's sake. But it was interesting to see Asantehene in Ochiman State, particularly the state capital, Chebi. And it was good. And besides that, what I heard there, Asantehene say that he was in a regalia that was used in 1935 by his great uncle. What the regalia he wore yesterday, was what his uncle used when Nana Ofori-Atta the First visited Asante Mine for some discussions or whatever it is. Wow. So I felt it was a very great moment, and it also puts to bed we politicians our forgive my language, propaganda that the Achims and the Asantes can never coexist. We are enemies, we have problems with each other and co. And so the two great chiefs coming together at Chebi was exciting, and I believe and pray that is going to put to bed that propaganda that Asantes and Achims have some rifts. Okay, coming on the heels of recent comments or supposed comments by Gabi and Nana Asante Bediachu on the Asante King. You heard Asante King got furious that some people were doing certain things against him or something, and Gabi came out to say he can never do that because part of him is Asante. Cross marriages and co happens, and so sometimes you think somebody is a full-blooded Asante or full-blooded Achim, but you get to know 50 or 25% of the person is from the other place. And so it's good to see these two great, permit me to use the word, kings come together the way they did. They started from, I think, June or July thereabout when the Ochehene went to Kumasi to play golf with Asante Hene. And the president was there, if you saw that picture. And so I am happy as a Ghanaian at this moment to see two great kings from two great, clans of the land come together to show Ghanaians that chiefs can do it. Going beyond that, the proposition that Kotoko Hene made that we should look at the constitution again and give prominent roles to the chiefs. Some of them, like him, Asante Hene, is shown Ghanaians, and then Togbi Afede and Ochehene, they've shown Ghanaians that given the chance, chiefs can lead in the development agenda. And rightly so. And so if the constitution as of now hasn't given them that prominence to make certain judgments, rulings and decisions at the palace, I think the time has come for all of us to take a second look at that. I agree with the Asante Hene on this call.
Honorable, what are your thoughts on the Asante Hene's call to Parliament?
First and foremost, let me say good morning to your viewers, and also say that, look, anytime you have two ethnic groups, I don't know whether we call them ethnic groups or whatever they are, making an effort to have some level of unity is something you should be interested in. Particularly when we have had a country where we've had different ethnic groups at one point or the other fighting amongst themselves. We know the issues in the north, we know the issues in Alavanyo and areas like that. So when you always have people trying to ensure that they build bridges, it is something that we should applaud. The second thing I would want to say in this regard is the fact that in situations like this, too, sometimes our culture is really showcased. We tend to see what really we're bequeathed with by our ancestors. And so it's something that, and I've always indicated that, all said and done, if you look at what was brought from the Western world into us in position, part of the reasons why we have the challenges we have today is just because they are alien to us, so we're unable to internalize them and really use them. I use particularly the issue of even democracy sometimes. Sometimes you have a situation where, because democracy in itself is not an African thing, we are struggling to, there's a dichotomy between our person, just our architecture, and then the values that are being imposed on us. And so there's always some level of confusion in our minds and the way we practice things. And so when you see things like this, it gives you a very fair idea that, look, as much as possible, whilst we imbibe foreign culture and other things, let's see how we integrate them within the settings of our own culture. So yesterday what I saw was, I was excited about that. I don't have so much history about the Achims and then the Ashantis. I can tell you more about the Bongo people. People from Bongo. There I can tell you. But at least, one thing that was interesting was how national resources were at play in those areas. I saw the pictures. You know, actually, I.
Honorable Baba. I wasn't even expecting.
You see, the reason is that actually, I didn't pay attention to most of the things. It's just that one of your sister TV stations yesterday around 3 o'clock, that's on Joy. I was there for a program, and then. So I looked at some of the things and I saw the motorcade, the V. I said, wow, power suite. But that's okay. Like the Guinness, this is your time will come. So their time will come. So that's what they have to do what they do. But again, and I agree with what George said when he indicated that, look, if you look at the supposed comments that were made by some individuals who seem to be coming from the Achim area against the chief of Ashantis. I mean, it was clear that they were not excited about it. And whether they were alleged or not alleged, we do know that also subsequently there were some apologies that were made. So you don't apologize for something you have not done. You understand? If you have not done something, you come out to say, I have not done it. But if you've done it, then and you think that you place a judgment value on it and you think that it's wrong, then you can apologize. So the fact that they apologize also an admittance of the fact that it was said. And then,
so as if you place value on the relationship, you can apologize.
But that is hypocrisy. Then it is described as hypocrisy.
That is described you've done it. As long as the person feels you've done it, sometimes you just apologize.
No, it's not. You see, you apologize because you've done something that is wrong. That is the whole idea. When you go and apologize for something you have not done, you have been a hypocrite. You have been a liar.
No, but in our culture, we have this saying that when a child and an adult get into an argument, the adult is always right and the child is always wrong. So even if you are right, you still apologize just out of respect.
The accusation did not come first from the Santehene. It came from people around him because they had read certain posts and certain things. And on the strength of that, started running commentaries. You understand? So it was only fair on the part of those people who were accused to also come, look, show evidence that I had not done it. You understand the point I'm making? And I just want to tell you that I was on the side of the Asante chief. And I believed that it was done because it is something that was in public domain and we all knew it. So the fact that you say you didn't mean what you said or you wrote, it's a different thing. You see, the import of it could be misconstrued by people. But what was written was written. And thanks be to God, a greater number of Ghanaians can read and write. So that is the point I'm just saying. That's the first part. So I was excited that they came and then they had this thing done. But one thing I've always resisted, clearly, is the title king. By our constitution, we have no kings in Ghana. We have no kings. We have chiefs. So they are chiefdoms. They are not kingdoms. And the moment we begin to do that, then you begin to have, you threaten even the whole institution as a country, the whole nation as Ghana. Because we are all one. We are not in a monarch. We are not in a kingdom. We are in a republic. Yes, and the constitution, and that's why you say the Chieftaincy Act gives opportunity for us to have chiefs whom, to a very large extent, are development agents. And that's why I also agree with the call that that Santehene made when he indicated that, look, let's begin to see how we can give certain roles to people. And I agree with that. There are some chiefs you go to, and yesterday I think he made a call on. He gave an example of that you sometimes go to the chief's palace. They finish adjudicating a case, and the person who's wrong gets up and congratulates the chief because he thinks that in as much as I've been judged to be wrong, there's wisdom in the decision taking. And these things don't come easily. Most of our chiefs would have learned over the years from elders. They sit when people, there are discussions, and so over the years they begin to imbibe even in themselves the values of integrity. And so when they make it and they do it very well. It is important to also state that some chiefs have also taken advantage of their people. And all they do is they use that as a platform to enrich themselves. The issues of Galamsey, I've seen that in one of your topics you're going to talk, has to do with that. The fact that chiefs think that because they are monarchs, they are what over the people, they then turn, instead of bringing in investors that will help them, they tend to first destroy the environment for Galamsey's sake because they know that they have a share in it.
Okay.
You understand? Yes. So there are positives to the chieftaincy whole thing, and there are negatives. I've heard people. I've heard people say that this is a colonial. An ancient relic that we should get rid of. I am not one of those who believes in that. I believe that the chieftaincy institution can be reformed to meet the challenges of the present.
Okay.
And that's
Thank you very much. Okay. Now, the next story we're going to look at is reading from citynewsroom.com. It's official. Mahama joins contest for NDC presidential ticket. So former President John Dramani Mahama has formally declared his intention to contest the National Democratic Congress presidential primaries. His letter of intent was presented to the NDC on his behalf by a delegate led by former Ambassador Daniel Ohene Ejekum at the NDC headquarters yesterday in Accra. Let's get your, well, this is no surprise to you, of course, but what are your thoughts on it?
No surprise, yes, but I was excited. I was excited because for past 4 or 5 months, I have been involved in a group that consistently visited the former president and encouraging him to contest. He had indicated very clearly that before he takes a decision, one, he will have to consult widely. Of course, first he has to reflect on the issues and see whether, even as a person, whether he was ready to do that. But he also felt that he needed to also consult widely, consult the grassroots. I think he did that mainly through even the Unity Works. Almost all the regions he went to, he took advantage of that occasion to talk to a cross-section of the party members. He spoke to party elders. He spoke to the founder. And just as he said himself, he also prayed. So we're excited when he finally took the decision that on the 23rd of August, that he was going to contest the flag bearership. For me, August 23rd is a very key date. If you recall, it was on August 23rd that John Mahama took the form to contest as a flag bearer in 2012 and won the election. So when yesterday he wrote his letter of intent to the General Secretary, and as much as I believe in scientific evidence and things to make, I would not run away from the powerful coincidence of the dates. But so his declaration generally was exciting to all of us. You needed to be at the party headquarters to see exactly what had happened. I've read some places where they indicated that he was...
we passed there actually.
Yeah, we drove past there yesterday.
I've read some places, also reports in one of the portals that, the man himself is out of the country. He's not out of the country. He's actually around. So after Ambassador Ohene Ejekum went and presented the letter of intent to the General Secretary, we went back to his office, where he works now. And then he addressed a few party members who were around there. And he admonished us to do one simple thing. He indicated very clearly, the contest was not between he and whoever is involved in this contest. The contest was between us and poverty, underdevelopment, the destruction of our environment, and issues like that. And as a party, we needed to show to Ghanaians that, one, we are ready to provide a platform that they can identify with and come on board.
You are deeply involved. One, you were part of the delegation that went to the former President Rawlings.
Yes,
you went with former President Mahama to the residence of, or to the office of former President Rawlings.
Yes,
what was the reaction from the former President Rawlings?
It was one of joy. It was one of happiness on the part of the former president. Indeed, the reason for the visit were twofold. One was just to check on him, how he was doing, which was something His Excellency the former president does regularly. And the other one was to tell him that he didn't want him to hear on radio that, he is going to present a letter of intent to contest. Out of respect for the founder, it was proper that he pre-informs him. He didn't only do that. You see, before the former president did that, almost all major chiefs in Ghana were told before he went and put the letter there. That's part of the consultation he did. So, for example, my paramount chief was formally informed. And I do know that major chiefs were informed that on this day, which was August 23rd, he was going to present his letter with the hope of presenting himself to the NDC delegates for election. So when we also went to the former president, he was excited about it. He spoke about the fact that, he has always been consistent on those things. Give everybody a fair chance. So whoever is interested in contesting, as long as the person qualifies within the guidelines of the party and the Constitution of Ghana, the person should be given equal platform to be able
That doesn't sound very supportive of your candidate.
When you say supportive of the candidate,
as in, if he says, I'm going to give everybody a fair chance, it doesn't seem like he supports the President Mahamad's former President Mahamad's candidacy.
It will be disappointing. It will be disappointing if His Excellency the former President Gerald John Rawlings picks up one candidate now to support. I say that because he is the father of the group, and he needs, to a very large extent, to be seen as somebody everybody can walk to. If you look at his role, I've always seen his role like your pastor. If you have a pastor, one of the reasons why people always tell pastors not to do politics, and at least, me, I'm a Catholic, why Catholic priests are not supposed to do politics, is the fact that you should be somebody that everybody can walk to. So I am an NDC man, but I still can come to you as my spiritual leader. So in the same way, Gerald John Rawlings is a father. If you observe, if you look at the list of MPs that even endorse John Mahama, conspicuously missing are the leadership of Parliament. I'm talking of the Mahama Idris, Harun Idrisu, Aviji, and then Mutaka. It is for a reason. The reason is simple. They are the leaders of, what do you call it, the parliamentary front.
Okay.
And so it is only fair that you get them out of this group so that all the other people, because for now, Parliament is leading the party until we have new executive now. So it is important that they are not seen hip-hopping around with candidates. They should be people who are seen to be fair that everybody can walk to. And that's what conspicuously missing were those names on the list.
Well, there have been concerns that former President Mahama, he served as vice president, he served as president. His legacy should speak for itself, right? If he's fixed all these issues you mentioned about poverty and the likes, he should have done that during his term, and the legacy should speak for itself. And perhaps maybe a clean slate candidate would have positioned the party well. What are your thoughts on that?
Look, let me tell you, I
really briefly.
Yes, I just want to make a point. If you look at the 4 years of John Mahama as a president and what he did within those 4 years, I think that when it comes to particularly infrastructure, maybe the other person we can compare to Uwe Nkrumah. And I've said it many times.
Okay.
Nkrumah, in his 9 years as a president, had put up 59 secondary schools in Ghana.
Okay.
59.
I want you to elaborate on that.
And that was,
let's take a quick
that was the
break,
highest.
and then
so
you
maybe
will continue.
Okay.
This is Breakfast Daily on City TV. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Hey family, my name is Joe Metal and you're watching Breakfast Daily on City TV. Keep watching, don't go nowhere.
For regular news checks as they unfold, 2020 news, all day, all the time. Politics, sports, entertainment, business, and more. 2020 news. We bring you the world in 20 minutes.
And that's all the news in 20 minutes.
It's engaging, detailed, and loaded with factual and incisive analysis. It's The Big Issue, your preferred Saturday morning news and current affairs analysis program on City TV. Tune in this and every Saturday at 9 a.m. and hear the newsmakers discuss the top issues for the week.
At that time, Charlotte was complete. I'm not defending Charlotte. I'm talking about the way we behave like hypocrites and ostriches in this country. At that time, she was a perfect person.
It's The Big Issue with Stella Madonu on City TV. This and every Saturday at 9 a.m.
They say, why you they love them like this? Oh, I don't know. Hi everyone, it's Miss V. Make sure you keep watching Breakfast Daily on City TV. Don't go anywhere. Tiptoe swag.
Okay, welcome back to Breakfast Daily. Now it's still the news review segment for today, and we're talking about the fact that the former president has formally declared his intention to run for the flag bearership of the NDC, and of course, by extension, the presidential race of Ghana come 2020. And I think we can come to you, George AC, now to comment on the same topic before we move on to the next.
Yeah, thank you. The name?
Wilberforce.
Yeah, Wilberforce. Yeah, ordinarily, it shouldn't be a worry what the NDC does in their stable. But the ultimate decision by the people or the delegates of the NDC is going to bring somebody that is likely going to be the president of Ghana. And so in that case, we need to also wait in and make our comments. One, I wasn't surprised that President John Dramani Mahama has put himself forward, that he's going to contest again. To be honest with you, he's their best bet as of now. He's their best bet for maybe many varied reasons, one of which my brother said and is part that about 94 members of parliament on the minority bench have endorsed him as their preferred candidate. Going beyond that, I ask, what new does he bring to the...
This 94 has been questioned, actually. So I'm looking forward to a point where maybe any member of parliament who is amongst this 94 would actually come out to...
Yesterday.
No, but quick one. Sorry, it's just for information. I know this issue came up. You remember I came to
yes, we discussed it.
Because, yes, I got them to sign those things. Before we even published the names, we made sure that every individual who had signed it reaffirmed on a platform we have that you wanted your name to be published as somebody who endorses. And we said that because of the fact that people had said that they had been tricked. Others, yes, Honorable Abababi had said that some 50 people had come to him saying that they didn't know that this was the case. So we did that, and that's why we published the names in addition to the statement.
Okay, very solid.
Please continue.
Good. Very solid.
Yeah, having said that, I asked what new does he bring to the table? He's been president before. And it was interesting hearing my brother, the Honorable Member of Parliament for Bongo, saying, out of respect, they were paying obeisance to the founder of the NDC. Where was President Mahama in 2012 vis-a-vis paying obeisance to Papa J? Before he contested, did he do that? 2016, did he do that? No. Okay? No, it's an open secret.
No,
he never did that. Okay? We heard about the, war of words. And even now, I have read somewhere that Papa J says John Mahama will be the worst. He would support any other person on the ticket of NDC. Yes, other than John Mahama.
What's the source of, where did you read it?
Bad news for them.
Well, I don't know where you got that information
from. So where did you read it from? Where did you read that information?
But beyond this, what does that mean?
No, let him. No.
Good. I'll come. Don't
subject him to strict proof. Where did you read this thing from?
Is this an allegation? He probably read it somewhere.
Yeah, where?
It's an allegation.
And I know you to be a smart guy, so you know exactly where you read it from.
He's just doing mischief right now. But what does this mean for the MPP? Because
very good.
Let me just a couple of years ago when you were campaigning, you you had the faults of Mahama to point out, but now there are things people are also saying about the NPP, even though you've not completed your 4 years yet. So how does this change the campaign strategy for you?
Oh, come on. We're still going to go on the records of President Mahama. We're going to go on that record.
Where you have a record.
Okay. Good. No, we, to be honest with you, we are going into the 2020 campaign with our track record.
Okay.
Okay. We made a promise to the Ghanaian people. We said we're going to do A, B, C, D. By 2020, December 7th, we are going to point to Ghanaians that we said we're going to do this. There it is.
One factory, one
we're
village,
going to do
dam.
this. There it is. Okay? We're going to point to the promises we made. Okay? And the achievements. That is what we are not going to say we'll do, you get it? Because we promised the people. Were you able to deliver on free SHS? How is it going? Are people benefiting from it? Is it a good policy? I think yes, 1,000% thumbs up for it. One district, one factory. Where is it now?
That's a good question. Where is it now?
Where is it now?
Well,
no, I
is
mean
it,
the
though?
stage.
No,
by 2020, you get it.
Where is it now? We are almost 2 years. Where is it now?
One village, one dam.
One village is ongoing.
Okay. Which one? Is it the one the children are dying inside?
From your place, yeah.
Don't go.
Is it by 2020?
No, it is important. No, she's saying that I shouldn't go there. It's important. You see, when you have, sorry, George, you know I won't do this to you. You see, when you have a situation, when you have a situation, when, for example, the president is coming to a district, you hardly bring bulldozers. You take off the earth, create cavities all around. Then when the president goes, you go away. Water comes because of the rain. The place becomes something like a... Then a child goes to die there. That is a mark of irresponsibility. That's a mark. Read the story. That's why are people not dying in seas and in ponds and other things? Why is this one a story? It is because of the manner in which that cavity was created. And so that's the point we are making. So it is not about me, I shouldn't go there. It's about deception.
But still,
I what you're saying?
Go on with your story.
Well, anyway.
Well, the interesting aspect again is what the
and we're very sorry for the loss of
no, it's okay.
The
former president said something that he needed the opportunity to right the wrongs. What wrongs?
I will tell you what the wrongs are.
What wrongs? Is it the greed? Is it the corruption that spread everywhere? Is that what the wrongs were? Is that the incompetence that we trumpeted all over? Is that it? What were the wrongs? Because he said, you know, in 8 years in office, he said when he was vice president, he told us after the demise of the former president, His Excellency Professor Mills, that he was virtually at the driving seat. He said that when he came to Cape Coast.
Yeah.
Okay? So these are matters that we... So if you had 8 years virtually in the driving seat, what is it that you never had the opportunity to do, which you seek to do now? That's what we need to be asking. Okay? So these are matters that we will put before the Ghanaian people. Juxtapose that with our delivery, our performance as a government, because that is going to be key. Okay, so we will be coming there. Then we ask him to tell us. Now, maybe my brother, Honorable Ed Bauer, will tell us. Forgive me, I call him Ed Bauer. Yeah, so will tell us what the wrongs were and how they intend to right those wrongs. Do you get it? And then give Ghanaians assurance that indeed it's going. But to be honest with you, as an MPP person, we are happy the NDC is going to bring John Dramani Mahama. Okay, I would prefer if the NDC were futuristic, they would be looking at somebody like Professor Alabi, okay, or Spio Gabra, or Namuali. He's coming still. See Namuali, you get it? So that, you know, in case, and it's going to happen, he's going to lose. Okay, in case the candidate is not successful, then going into the future. But if you bring him, two things. One, if he doesn't win the election, you're going to keep him and bring him back, or two. But
you have done that several times in your party, so it wouldn't be such a bad idea.
Don't worry about it. If he's successful, you bring in a one-term president. Is that what you're doing? Then after that, you're going to look at somebody who will come and then take it over from there. That's what I meant by they not being futuristic. Okay. Having said that, we MPP, we're battle ready for them. But for now, we're focusing on delivering on our promises to the Ghanaian people. Once we do that, by December 7, 2020, we would have been able to confidently tell Ghanaians, this is the agreement or the covenant we signed with you. This is our performance. Assess that, and looking again at the integrity of our candidate, our leader.
Good.
Okay.
Thank you.
So
now
just
briefly,
right of reply.
Just 1 minute.
No, it can be a 1 minute for this. It can be a 1 minute for this. No, it can be a 1 minute.
There are other stories we have.
Don't worry. After that, I'll cede my time to him to do the reminding. You see, let me make a point. But I'm happy as a...
Before you go on, you raised a good point about that. Are you going to bring in a one-term president? You know the constitution allows every president to have 2 terms. Now, President Mahama has already done 1 term. So if he comes again, is he coming for just 1 term? Or
he's ready for all the
Let me make my point. First and foremost, let me state that, and I'm happy he has a mass background. Look at the figures. Look at the figures in 2012. And look at the figures in 2016 for Nana Addo. And you realize that the difference was not that huge for his votes. And look at John Mahama's case, and then 2016, and you see there was a huge reduction. Look at the voter turnout, and you also realize that the performance in 2012, 16, was lower than that of 2012. Anytime there's voter apathy, usually it's the incumbent government that suffers, and because most often than not, they are your own party people who have decided that they won't come out. They are not ready to bring themselves to voting for another candidate, but they will also come out and vote for you because they are angry. So if you look at the voter apathy in 2016 was huge. It is not that Nana Addo did anything in terms of performance in the end. That's the first thing. Secondly, he's asking what is it that we did wrong, and His Excellency, His Excellency the former president has indicated it very clearly. One of the greatest challenges that the NDC got in trying to deliver on its own promises that the social contract had with Ghanaians was that we concentrated on that so much that we forgot about the communication aspect of it. And how do we communicate this to the grassroots?
Wow.
You had a situation where you had policies that, in our own mind, we felt that they were very positive ones. But how to communicate that? We couldn't do it properly. And it was a defect.
This is the first time hearing it.
I mean,
Green Book, and
I'm coming. Yes.
I mean, communication.
Let me make a point. You can criticize somebody's performance without necessarily having to go into his disability. I can sit here and speak very slowly, be a stammerer, and still make my point. And the point I will be making will be better than you rattling like a bird. So it is not about the disability of another. And I will continuously say that as an individual, if I were to be Baben, I won't make those comments.
Of course.
I wouldn't make them. Because anything that we have as human beings,
you're about to always this point now.
No, what I'm just saying was that the communication, when we use the word, and again, luckily enough, you are now heading a communications unit, and you will know that when it comes to issues of communication, it's not just about you going to sit down and talk to people. It goes beyond just the normal. You have a lot of things, even in terms of even your policy. What are your stakeholder engagements that you have made? And things like that. You need to look at all those things.
To be fair, the criticism of the communications minister, I think maybe communications minister is not really involved in. I think that's the work of the Minister of Information. Yes, so I think that was wrong criticism.
He was wrong factually. He indicated that under Mills it was what's the name, Harun Idrisu, and under this it was Omane Boama. Under President Mills, we had a fully functioning Ministry of Information that was headed by an individual. You had certain that you had Fritz Bafo at one point, you had John Tia and issues like that. So we have people who
we do have to move on.
Okay, but you see, he made in terms of record. I beg you, he just mentioned issues of corruption. Issues of corruption. Beyond just the things we have mentioned and the things we have spoken, you remember the last I came here, we spoke about that had led to the loss of somebody's job. Apart from that, let's even look at the objective.
That's not corruption.
You see, what is it? Let's look at the fundamental instrument that Ghana we have always used. We have always used the CPI, the Corruption Perception Index. Look at the performance in 2017. It's the worst we've had since they started measuring Ghana. It was under whose regime? The best records we got were under President John Mahama as a country. So when you
the 8th year.
No, let him finish.
So
let him finish.
So at the end of the day, why was it 1 year?
Okay, we will move.
So basically, I just want to tell you, look, when the time comes, when the time comes, you see, you know, the last time I came and told you about something here on something here about the MPs and others, and said something was going to come up. I'm promising you, in the next week or two, you see the bombshell that will come.
Wow. Okay.
I'm telling you, this country will shake. On corruption.
The next story that we're going to look at is, I'm reading from the Ghanaian Times. It says, roadmap for lifting ban on small-scale mining lacks clarity. Roadmap for lifting ban on small-scale mining lacks clarity. The Media Coalition Against Galamsey has raised concerns about the government's roadmap towards the lifting of the ban on small-scale mining, saying it lacks clarity and extensive consultation. So they mentioned a few things, so I'm just going to reference them to you so that we have our discussions. Key amongst the limitations, according to Mr. Ken Ashibe, convener of the Media Coalition Against Galamsey, was the absence of the role of the media and the National Commission for Civil Education in the education and information, informing the public and the corresponding communication strategy that would be critical to the success of the project. He goes on to also say that the roadmap provided vague timelines rather than definite start and completion dates. Also, he explained that the choice of an ad hoc body was not enough. And finally, the vetting process in the roadmap, which identified the Interministerial Committee on Illegal Mining as the lead, also failed to clarify the roles of supporting actors, including chiefs, stakeholder agencies, and institutions. So let's get
and also to add to that, they also called for an independent investigation of the Forestry Commission, and I think Chairman Wontumi was mentioned in there, and of course Sir John was also mentioned in that particular story.
The chief has come to apologize to Sir John. Anyway, let's make progress. The Jacobu chief or so. Yeah, I think Ken has a point, Ken Ashibe, because when the Galamsey fight started, members of the media were key partners with government on the fight against Galamsey and then illegal mining and all that. And so if we got into a point after 18 months, 19 months, and we feel we need to review it, and then, you know, lift the ban, I think it's proper that we bring the partners on board. And then, you know, the roadmap should definitely have clarity. When are we, what are the benchmarks? The next 3 months, what are we looking out for before we lift it completely? Is there going to be a temporal lifting? Are there some processes that the, you know, miners ought to go through and meet certain benchmarks before you be considered to be, you know, given a license to operate? Mind you, it's not Galamsey that is going to be restored. It's the small-scale mining, you know, because most people have legitimately registered to do small-scale mining.
But why didn't we do all this due diligence before we banned it? Couldn't we have done these things he mentioned?
Oh, no. In the ban, when it was banned, these processes have been gone through. In fact, there's been engagement with the miners there. It's been varied. They've met chiefs and others in areas where mining is done. You know, they've engaged a lot of stakeholders therein. And so making the progress, we are speaking of this because the media or some members of the media feel there's no clarity to the whole processes. Okay, and so I am saying if that be the case, then I agree, because when it started, they were part of it. In fact, the media actually trumpeted the whole fight. We know the damage that Galamsey, the illegal mining and all that is causing to our land and then our water bodies. I've had the privilege to be in the Dentra area, Akwatia area and co. So I know what it is to be doing some of these illegal mining and the effect on community and society. Honorable was talking about a certain pond having taken some. In these areas, if you were to go into the bush wanting to do something I would want to mention, right? In the bush, maybe you are passing and so you are pressed, so you vie into, if you don't take time, you fall in the pit. Okay, these things are there. But in the land reclamation processes as part of the rules of engagement in mining or small-scale mining and co., you are to do reclamation of the land. Okay. But these things are not that. So I think if Ken Ashigbe is calling for clarity in the roadmap, I second it, and I wish government takes it in good faith and then bring them to the table and then do that.
You've touched a bit on the media, right? But the other thing you mentioned was also the small-scale miners themselves. These are people who actually contribute to our economy. So if they are not able to operate their businesses, it has a rippling effect on all other sectors. So how can we actually make sure that we are deliberate about the timeline so that they can also go back to work?
If lifting the ban means giving them the authority to go and operate, right? And so, and you need to go through the licensing procedure. Okay, you cannot do small-scale mining if you don't have the license. And so they definitely will be engaged. And I know they've been engaged severally. But at certain points, they were not satisfied with some of the engagement. Whether fortunately or unfortunately, we have a new minister in the sector. No, Mr. Amewu is gone to energy now. He was the lead fighter. Now we have the former Brong-Ahafo minister, I think Asuma Chemi or so. Yeah, so he is now in the saddle. And so he needs to study the details and then gets the stakeholder engagement with the miners themselves, small-scale miners, and they see the way forward. I agree, there should be definitive timelines. Okay, so by December 2018, we will lift it. But before then, by November, you should do this, meet this. Then clarity is brought to bear and engage the media.
Honorable Bauer, your thoughts on this?
I think if you ask Peter Amewu today, he will tell you that I've been one of his worst critics when it comes to the committee. I've told him. Because he's been my friend before he came to the ministerial job. And the reason is simple. You come and then you have a blanket ban on small-scale mining. Because the environment was being destroyed. Now you know that in the country, if you look at the local content component of our mining industry, they are found within the small-scale miners, because we do not have the capital, we do not have the money, as it were, the huge capital outlay that is demanded to go into the huge ones like the Anglo Golds and what have you. And so we are found mostly in the small-scale mining thing. So when you have a blanket ban, what you have just done is that you have effectively taken off all Ghanaians and left that industry to the foreigners to operate. That's the first point. And so if we are doing that, and that was the question you asked, how do you get that? Because usually, when you are given a license to operate in a place, you're not giving a license to go into a water body. You're not giving a license. So anybody who is found in a water body in the first place is an illegal miner. You're not giving a license to go into a forest. You understand the point I'm making? And so there are certain areas where, so obviously you could identify those who were illegal miners in the first place without even serious thing.
So we didn't need drones and all those things to find.
Yeah, I mean that is concert party. Just let's leave that for now. But the other part that was very serious. When you place the ban, all we heard was, oh, you are continuing with the what do you call it? The ban is going to continue. But you never told what was the termination point. What were the deliverables that we needed to look and measure your ban on? So that, for example, just as he said, Q1, we expect that you would have done X, Y, Z. You were not telling us anything. So we couldn't even measure your performance. All we heard was that you had banned them. Meanwhile, these small-scale miners had gone for bank loans. And the banks are not waiting for the bank to be lifted before you service the loan, because you have an agreement with the bank to service the loan within a period of time. So these guys, and I'm telling you, if you ask the small-scale miners, some have had stroke, some have died, And it is just because of the fact that this financial burden that finally came on them because they were not operating brought all these things. Now, we have a situation where the minister has indicated that, look, they are trying to look at how the process of trying to live that. I fully support them in that. Because that is the only way we can have Ghanaians still being in this. Look, if you sit down today and you look at the amount of money Ghanaians get as a result of our mining, that we have been mining from Gold Coast time up to today, it tells you that we have made some mistakes in local participation in that industry. Indeed, it is part of the reasons why in the oil industry, we consciously decided to bring the local content at the LI 2214. And the reason was simple, that because if you look at how one of our major natural resources, which is mine, gold and what have you, how we have managed it and how we have surrendered it to foreign interest, it was only fair that we look at things like that. So I'm excited that they are doing this. Yes, Ken Asibe and Cindy have given certain challenges that have come. But look, we now want specifics. Me, whether it is a project management or what have you, there are certain things I need to look at you for. Because you say you want to do X. I want to see what the deliverable, and I'll measure you on that. And on that basis...
To be fair, the ministry has indicated that, or what I got from them is that by the end of the year, they'll be smiling. That's post 16th August when the roadmap was released.
I'm telling you that, I'm telling you this is by December this year. So now they are saying it. So, you see, I'm speaking to you because you know part of that ministry answers to committee that I serve in. And I'm telling you that until now you're telling me by the end of the year, you will be smiling. We did not have termination point on these projects. That on the basis, for example, you tell me that I want to make sure that in 1 year, I clear all this mess and make sure the legitimate companies operate. So I know that within 1 year. So you are giving me. So if after 1 year you have not done it, then you come back to me and give me reasons why you have not been able to do and why you need an extension. I know that making sense. But I do not even know what your termination point is. And for every project that you do, and this was a huge project.
I need you to wrap up. I need you to wrap up. I need you to wrap up.
We'll take your closing statement, but we'll take honorables first. Just your closing statement.
See, that is the point I just said. That if you ask Honorable, we will tell you that I indicated very clearly that I want timelines. They couldn't give us. They couldn't give us timelines. It was one of the challenges we had with the ministry, and it is not that we're against the whole the program. When CTFM brought those your things for us to sign in Parliament, you know, you people are also involved in the campaign. Why you brought them? I was one of the people who signed it. I support it. I support the campaign, but I needed timelines to be able to measure your performance because people's livelihood were also being destroyed as a result of this decision, and we needed to make sure that people who legitimately have been licensed to operate should be given the thing to do if they follow the what they call it, the guidelines that accompany the licensing. So basically, that is my.
I think we'll end you on that point. Thank you very much.
But you said now you want my closing remarks. No, this was my. It can't be my closing remarks. Now my closing remarks. See, now my closing remarks.
Okay.
No. I was saying 10 seconds. For me, I think that there's one thing that you all should be interested in as a media. Just a few days ago, you heard that because for us, debt situation in Ghana is huge. Just a few days ago, the Auditor General and the Controlling Accountant General came out and told us that by the close of 2016, our debt was 120 billion. Meanwhile, you had the President of Ghana come to speak to Ghanaians to Parliament, quoting a figure of 122 billion. The Minister of Finance repeatedly, both at budget level and the media review, quoting 122 billion. This is deception. And this is something as a country we must be very careful about. And I know that when we come back in October, we'll be bringing the Minister of Finance.
It's very
to tell
important.
Us why
it's a solid point you raised.
Where is it coming from?
Thank you. It's a solid point you raised. And finally, George.
Yeah, thank you. It's good he's brought that 122.6 billion. It depends on the disclosed figures available as of the transition period. Figures were to be made available, and so if you made certain figures available and the computations are done and they arrived at that, that's is that part of the reason?
Is it finance is just addition, subtraction?
The last one is that the reason why they are writing to the IMF to, stop the barter agreement between
Thank you.
They are creating a precedent to stop it.
Thank you, Honorable Bawa and Mr. Georgia.
Yeah, so interestingly also, there has been a call by one of the nominees yesterday for a withdrawal of accreditation of some legal institutions in the country. And I think now, and I can speak to is as former vice president of the Ghana School of Law. I don't think that is the best move for the withdrawal of all accreditation.
Well, people don't know what it is.
We'll talk about it.
But Mr. George Aisi is the director of communications at NADMO, and of course we had Honorable Bawa here with us. Thank you both, gentlemen. We hope you enjoy the rest of your weekend. Breakfast Daily still continues. Do not go anywhere. We'll be right back.
I know about that photo, saying Tim Titia who I go talk to, yeah. This is Kwesiata and you're watching Breakfast Daily, ground up to the top, oh yeah.
Avenue for people who would be conservative all year round. When it gets to Charlotte, everyone is like bearing their inner essence, like they want to be free.
You're all connected.
Other people want to do it if they see you happy doing it, so you share the energy.
And also in a very strong atmosphere.
Wherever the weekend sporting action happened, we will bring it to you here on Scorecard. Every goal, every dunk, every punch, the winning strides, and the winning volleys.
International media, he said, look, wait, sit and wait. Let me have a meal with my people. And I think that's the same cool, it's the same organization he brings to the field every time I've seen him play. He looks to me like somebody who has played over 50 caps already. Okay. But this guy has barely played over 25 caps for the national team.
All of the weekend's action in one place. Scorecard, every Sunday at 7:30 p.m. prompt on CTTV.
It's engaging, detailed, and loaded with factual and incisive analysis. It's The Big Issue, your preferred Saturday morning news and current affairs analysis program on City TV. Tune in this and every Saturday at 9 a.m. and hear the newsmakers discuss the top issues for the week.
At that time, Charlotte was complete. I'm not defending Charlotte. I'm talking about the way we behave like hypocrites and ostriches in this country. At that time, she was a perfect person.
It's The Big Issue with Stella Madonu on City TV. This and every Saturday at 9 a.m.
My name is Juliet Yahasantua Asante. Keep watching Breakfast Daily on City TV.
Good morning, Ghana. Good morning, world. You're in tune to the Breakfast Daily on CTTV. Stonebwoy says so. Keep it locked. Don't log off. Beep.
Go. Hello and welcome to another day, another week, and of course another episode of 30 Minutes. We're excited and we will be talking about all the trending conversations.
Spend 30 minutes every weekday catching up with all the trending social media conversations of the day. If you tweet it, we'll read it. We might just even Skype you.
Shatta, why are you being so raw and hard like that? But at the particular time, that's what I wanted to do it. But that doesn't mean you are my enemy. We can still meet again and Shatta, this time we are about to do, don't come and do that nonsense. Okay, please, I won't do it. And we'll give respect to each other. But sometimes I feel, when we are all humans. When somebody says something about me, Shatta, hey, no, I might want to say something. Yeah. So, but when I say it, people shouldn't take it like taking things, personal and stuff. I've understood showbiz now, and I really want to work on it.
30 minutes is all it takes, so use the hashtag 30minutes on social media to catch our attention. Join the most interactive social media TV show weekdays at 5 p.m. only on City TV.
I know about that photo. Saying Tim Titia who I go talk to. Yeah. This is Kwesiata and you're watching Breakfast Daily. Ground up to the top. Oh yeah.
This has been a great show so far.
I'm so excited. Now I've had so much fun. Always I do have fun. Well, especially, except, not especially, except.
It's okay, it's a Friday, it's allowed.
Very open.
It's allowed.
Except when, we come very excited in the morning and then you hear the news of, so someone passing. But over the past, 30 days or so, I think it's been quite, it was really sad. I mean, it started from the former Vice President of the Republic, and then it went to
J.H. Mensah,
very important statesman in the country, J.H. Mensah, and now Busumuru himself, Busumuru Kofi Annan, has also fallen. Yeah. But on other days, of course,
we've been discussing the Folklore Day. We had Folklore Day this week. We talked a lot about culture and tradition and heritage, and right here in Accra is the Homowo Festival. It's happening, and we've not paid enough time to it, so we're going to do that now. It's important for us.
It's very interesting. I mean, we should take our festival very, very seriously.
I think we do.
We have the Akwesida Ekese and all those things that we have, amongst the accounts and Ujra and all those things. Now we are looking at Homowo. And I'm very, very interested this particular year to seeing exactly what happened. I mean, Samen sent me some pictures of, him at one of the Homowo events, and I think it was very beautiful. Nice. I like how he gets into
this is a call to action to all of you guys, right?
Yes.
Let's not stay home. Let's get out. Let's really learn about our culture, our heritage. If you're in Accra, attend the Homowo. If you were in Chebi, that was a great time to actually participate in what's going on and really appreciate what great people we are, our authentic identity and our rich culture. We have something that we want to show you, so we'll take a look at that right now.
So we'll be giving you just a bit of information about Homowo as well.
So the Homowo Festival, celebrated by the Ga people of Ghana. The festival starts in the month of May with planting of crops before the rainy season starts. During the festival, they perform a dance called Panlugu.
Those were the days. Well, I would say that I've honestly never tried Kpokwe before.
Really?
I've honestly never tried it.
So you should try it this year.
Yeah,
this year you should try.
Some say Kpokwe, some say Kpekpele. Whichever one you choose to call it. I've honestly never tried it before, but it looks good. It looks like it's like Gary. I come from. Part of me comes from even the Nzima land. We have also something that looks like this. It's not yellow. It's Eto.
Very,
no, it's not Eto. What's the name? Acheke.
Acheke. Yes, Acheke.
Acheke is wonderful.
Also, well, speaking of food, so did you know that the Ga people celebrate Homowo in remembrance of the famine that once happened in their history during the pre-colonial time? So, in as much as we're discovering all these exotic foods and we're eating them, it's also just a remembrance.
The food all over the floor. So Homowo
exactly.
is supposed to mean it's a guy where that's
going through
the way it's moved, and then
you celebrate this thing because we are
the meat. Now the meal
to accommodate the festival. Okay, so if you see things happening, don't complain and say, "Oh my God, palm nuts."
Cornmeal.
Yeah, you know cornmeal.
Yeah, I mean, I was always wondering.
No, you
can say tokwe or pekpele.
Exactly. I gave you the. Yeah, no, it's already dry. Yeah, so when you mix the white with the red, then it turns yellow. That's crazy. And then you keep staring and staring as you're staring because it smells really, really.
For you.
Ken will be there.
Today and tomorrow.
Expect a lot of creativity, a lot of amazing thing about this year's Chalote Street Festival. A lot of creativity world have gathered here. Chalote Street Art then experience from the and I can't wait.
So
so it was all very.
You're a big fan of me?
Yes, I'm a big fan of this man.
Zoom.
I mean, the film that I saw, I think it was the last film that screened. It was the cinematography was so beautiful. I was just struck by the color and the light and connections between the music was also really interesting for me.
Half indeed, you're watching Chalote Diaries. My name is.
Our use them one by one, starting with Leslie Asare, who is a performance artist. She's going to tell us exactly what she's doing at the festival on Saturday. Why am I forgetting this? He's not here.
He's here.
Yes, Benjamin IKB is here.
No, IKB, that's fine.
IKB. What you do and how you formed the El Wacha college.
Doing installation, so we're pretty happy to be here.
Where are you from?
I'm from Tunisia.
Meet in the workspace. Or something?
Because we meet a lot of people. It's a bit of like a village in a way.
Nice.
And it becomes a kind of social space.
Tunis, the Medina.
Some bamboo.
Where did you go?
From a construction site.
Nice. The old Kingsway building at Jamestown. Okay.
In Jamestown.
And we can see it from today, right? Or we have to wait till Saturday?
Yeah,
what you do and what we can expect from your work tomorrow?
Okay. I am Leslie Asari. Power, and that was that like several and it flows through and it translates on the paper. So,
when did you discover you had this in you?
I've always been a performer and an artist, so I don't know. It'd be like 8 or 9 to evolve.
You mentioned your grandma. Can you tell us a bit about what was
that I've come? So I just felt like
you've been with us. You have to.
And beyond these artists here, we leave our cars in Osu and just walk there.
Okay, so there are parking spaces around our park. Get closer to the bank of the block. Yeah, so you can around and then make your way through.
Oh, to the lighthouse. Just tease us a bit. Covered. Aside the food, because everybody says the food.
I guess we've been the super.
Just knew I had to be a part of it, so I'm really.
But we can ask you questions while you're performing.
During.
Okay, so I can't come and be like, hey.
No, I'll see you in a week.
Wait till you're done, and then I'll come.
That is the beauty of it. You're not confined to one definition or a space.
Thank you guys so much. I will.
Jealousy go. What's up, guys? Daily. Oh,
why are you being so raw and hard? Yeah. So, but when I say people shouldn't pay
social media to catch our attention. Join the most interactive social media TV show weekdays at
You guys were amazing. Thanks. You guys were amazing.
Yes,
and,
yes.
You know,
part of a halakasa.
Say a creative way of maybe
naturally ugly.
Okay, so how are you though?
I'm good.
Finally, Akambo.
Yes, please.
Or tonight.
Don't fight me.
Man. Okay. So
I think we spoken well. I'm not diluting the fact that we were being on poems for examination purposes. Students in English in the country.
What's Akambo?
Emmanuel Akambo.
Your father probably has the same name.
Yeah, my father is a senior. Why not? I mean, he was a cool writing applications. You rather write poetry and then
English student of your school. You also have to battle with God as compared to you.
Then he's not one of
it's Deji, which he's shortened today. I was to share, and then randomly I have been scribbling things behind my notebook. So, I gathered you people like my nonsense. Okay. Since that day, when they dictated the courses, I decided to read in school, and that's it's been you've known 5 years now.
About 5 years now. Yes. Since he came to your first time.
Since he came there, just picked me up like that. He's a lot of big names. When it comes to sport, okay, this is what I can do. So let's say I am whatever this is, standing in the middle of the table. This is my talent. Black would move you from here to here. Right now, I'm able to create things on the spot.
You, Natty.
For me, it didn't start off with me liking drama or arts. I did business administration. I was the kind of student everybody thought I was going to my spoken word. And spoken word is like that. It's aggressive.
But what's this?
Which couldn't fall on the beat, no matter how hard I tried. So I had to leave them the way spoken word pieces. And I'm
a session between rap and spoken word.
No,
or when did you come to know Black? breakfast. That's what, this is like freestyle. Thank you.
If you've not seen a live show that is spoken with a performance show that is going to people are going to talk about subjects that have, I mean, a lot of issues that deals with our crisis happening tonight. And so I want people to come. Also, Joel King.
Breakfast Daily will have a final performance, so stay tuned. Do not go. Remember that tonight is happening at the
Gorty.
The Geta Institute. Still Geta
Institute. It's a Friday.
iPhones and Samsungs have proven that planes plastics, but I tell you not. Who says we cannot live? Who says we cannot live with chips? Our economy is like cutting down our soil, our own soil, round and round.
Amazingly, money can now buy the truth. Take a good look at that. Recover suspense on vain pleasures.
Proud of the toilet seat of government to the Flagstaff House so that more occasion could happen right under. And though Town City might spring up with more shades day by day, falling so slow when. And so.
Event 54. Tonight we begin with the latest on Ugandan legislator Robert Kyagulanyi, also known as Bobi Wine. The popular let Kyagulanyi be remanded in custody until August 30th and granted him access to BS, a private television network